Namaste, everybody, and happy Tuesday, April 9th. Everybody survived the solar eclipse. It was fantastic for a lot of people, and then a lot of people didn't see it, which is very normal. But it was a very powerful day. And I know that many people here in America and different states were very aware of a lot of things being sprayed in the air to cover up the sun yesterday. But that's neither here nor there because we are more powerful than that, right? So I have been absent for a couple of weeks. I've been on a sacred walk and I'm back and I will talk about this walk at a later date. I received so much activation, so many codes, so much awakening. It was the third greatest awakening of my life that I've had, and many little deaths over those 2 weeks, but many new rebirths over those 2 weeks. And of course, building me up to a grand activation, a grand awakening. Again, third one that I've had in my life, and it was extremely profound. Um, my body did break down afterwards. I was purging during it at about 4 days where I was vomiting the entire time. And yes, and even when I returned, my body was still trying to reactivate and recode from everything that had been released. Or we'll say let go. I don't like to say release because it's like releasing. You're signing the lease again, and we're not doing that. So we're letting it go. So it was a great, great activation, great awakening, and more to come on that. So I was very aware and of the what was happening with the solar eclipse, and then we had the March worm moon, and we've got this pink new moon, and we've got everything happening between the equinoxes and Mercury in retrograde. And it's been a lot of things happening cosmology wise. And on March 25th, which was the full moon in March, I led a very specific meditation with a lot of people outside on this boat under the full moon in a very, very sacred place. And it was a beautiful meditation. And at the end of it, one of the ladies came up to me, and she had actually been Catholic her whole life. And which is great. At my service on Sundays, I have a lot of people from different churches that go do their service in the morning and then come to mine in the afternoon, because we're non-denominational. We do not discriminate against anybody. Anybody from any walk of life are welcome. We are the Church of Love, and it's ecclesiastical. So it's based on what is good for you and what works for you. And of course, keeping in line with the divine, with God, with the creator, but at the same time, doing good, serving the good, serving the light, not speaking words of hate, not doing horrible acts all week and then coming in and expecting just to be forgiven on Sundays. You have to really walk the walk with us. So, and from my experience and from my life, I could not stand on my platform every Sunday and me giving these services if I'm not holding myself up to that also. So after this meditation, this one woman came up to me and she said, "Oh, meditation was amazing." And she said that she was aware of her mother stepping in and standing next to her. Her mother had died several years ago. And as we know, there is no such thing as death. And she said, it's so weird though, because it goes against everything that I've been programmed to believe. I've been told to believe that God's outside of myself and I should be fearful and I'm not worthy, and all of this very low tone, low vibration teaching. And so I said to her, I said, well, how did the meditation feel? She said, it felt absolutely amazing. It felt amazing. And she said, I was just so surrounded with love. And she says, and then when you brought the angels in, she goes, I actually saw angels. And we had this conversation. And then that night I went back and picked up the Bible and went back to scripture. And when I saw her the next day, I said, I've got a couple of things that I want to share with you. So, and I read this at my service on Sunday. So in Revelations, in chapter 7, it says, and after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor on any tree. And I said to her, you said you saw 4 angels. And I was very aware it was Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel. And I said to her, there's angels throughout the whole Bible. And I said, and angels are sent to protect us and to hold up the north, south, east, and west, and to be there for us. And they come as the word of God, as the vision of God. And so we kind of talked about that a little bit. And I just thought, you know, even when I went back to the Bible, I mean, they're throughout the whole Bible, which I think is lovely. But we got on the subject of the stars and of astrology. And because there are some people that are very, you know, their beliefs are so rooted in, you know, the stars are of the bad and of the this and of the that. And when you really step back and think about it, and you think about the three wise men and they were guided by the star. And then when you look throughout the Bible, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And in the first page in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, it says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. God put them there. And let them be for signs, for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. So God, the divine, the creator, put the stars there, the sun, the moon, all of it. He put them there for us to work with, to lead us, to guide us, so that we may know the changing of the seasons and the times. And think about it. The moon controls the oceans. And we are water. We are mainly water, and we are born in water. We come from the waters. We come down the birth canal of the waters. We were given all of this from God, from the creator, from the divine, so that we could utilize this and use this. And I will tell you, and all of the hieroglyphics and all of those pyramids and all of those tombs and all of those sacred temples, they have stars all over the place. They have the zodiacs. They have all of it, because God, the creator, the divine, gave us them to utilize. It's right there on the very first page of the Bible. So, you know, it's all there for us. We were given everything. We were actually given so much. We were given so much. And even Yeshua said, Master Jesus said, do not start religions in my name. Don't. You know why? Because you separate, you divide. And when you divide, you know, there's that whole saying, divide and conquer. When you divide, you can control, and then fear is placed in there. And then you start bringing people down. You start telling people that they don't have the power, that they're not God, they're outside of God. And when we actually realize that we are an infinite expression of the divine, of all that is, and we recognize that we have God's source within us, we are unstoppable, unstoppable. We have more power in us than anything. And yes, there are certain humans at the top that like to control. That's what they like to do, because when people get a little bit of control, they can get greedy on that. And that's when ego steps in and power steps in. And then they like to tell you, you don't have the power. It's not in you. You have to beg for this and beg for that. It's all nonsense. I'm telling you, it's nonsense. You were given a great gift. You were breathed into and made in the image and likeness of source, of the creator of all that is, which means you're an extension of that. Don't ever forget that, because therein lies your power. Matthew chapter 9, verse 28. And when he was come into the house, and blind men came to him, and Jesus said unto them, believe ye that I'm able to do this? And they said unto him, yes. He then touched their eyes, saying, according to your faith, may it be done unto you. According to your faith, your faith. So Jesus was saying, what do you believe? What do you believe? Do you believe that you can be healed in this moment? Do you believe that you can be healed? And they said yes. And guess what? They were healed. What is he teaching? He's teaching it is done unto you as you believe. Do you believe or do you not believe? Do you believe that you have the power within you to heal yourself? Do you believe that everything is coming to you right on time? You're right where you're supposed to be on your path. Do you believe? Well, therefore, it is done unto you. Do you believe you are living in abundance? Then it is done unto you. And if you don't, then it is done unto you. So what do you believe? What do you believe? What is your faith? And remember, Faith is believing in that which is not yet seen. So it's believing, it's having absolute knowing. Do you believe or do you not? Do you have faith or do you not? Then it is done unto you. That's what they're teaching. That's literally what Jesus was teaching. And when he, chapter 10, and when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. So he in turn said to them, you have the power. And guess what? Because they thought they were getting it from Jesus, who is a vessel of God, by the way, a vessel of the Creator, as we are, when they received that power, they too could stand up and do those things because they believed, because they had faith, because they knew. Cast out unclean spirits. So what does that mean? We touched on this on Sunday. You've been around people that have like a low vibration, low tone. You get around them, you're don't like their vibe. Well, you might not like their vibe because they feel unclean. They don't feel healthy. They feel like maybe they are struggling with, substance abuse, or they're going through something that makes their auric field, their energetic field, not seem clean. And so when you're in a low vibration, low tone, you attract like-minded individuals. So yes, when you start to lift in frequency and rise up and start to really clean out your house, meaning everything around you, you start to lift in frequency and you will start to attract and vibrate those on the same frequency as you. Whatever your dominant resonance is what you're bringing in, period. So what you're putting out always comes back. We live in a quantum field. So when they were told they now have the power, and Jesus said to them, I'm giving you the power to do this. They believed, they trusted. If any one of them has said, I don't believe it, it is done unto you. They wouldn't have had the power. So therefore, again, he was teaching healing, self-healing, that we all have the power. We're all vessels of the divine. So in this time of everything that's going on with the signs, the stars that were given to us as signs, and the moon and the spring equinox and the seeding and the year of the 8, which means infinity, it's all coming back. What do you believe? Because it is done unto you. God speaks through us all. Your guides talk to you, your parents talk to you, your loved ones talk to you. God speaks through us all because we are all God. Even when someone leaves the body, when they transition, death is not the end. When they transition out of this body and they move over to the other side, are they still not God? Are they still not a part of the divine? And if you're aware, like that woman, she said, I felt my mother standing right next to me. I said, she was. Is she not God? For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father, which speaketh in you. It's in the book of Matthew. That is God saying right there, I am talking to you. I am talking through you. And when you close your eyes and you come into that place of meditation, into that place of dark, of powering all of it out, you are opening yourself up to the divine to receive the words of source. That's why you must trust it. You know, when you get that little feeling in the bottom of your belly, you're sitting on a park bench and kind of a shady character walks in, your instinct goes, time to leave. You know where that's coming from. That is words of the divine. So now, in this year, because now we're in spring, now we're in the new year. Spring has sprung. Everything's coming up. What do you believe? Are you getting quiet? Are you going into those times of dark to open up to the light within? Are you listening to your higher self, to God, to that voice that comes through you? Are you listening? Are you aware of your guides and your angels who are talking to you? It's all done in the light. It's all done in love. There is nothing to be afraid of. Of course, people will say, well, the dark exists. Of course it exists. We live in a world of polarity. Guess why? Because we wanted to know. We wanted to come down here and want to know both so that we could do better, so we could step into that highest version of ourselves and do better. And we learn by making mistakes. You don't learn when everything's going great. You don't. You learn in the worst times in your life, always. My greatest awakening I ever had was when my own daughter died, when my own perfect baby, Isabella, left her body. That's when I walked through the valley of death. And I was in the dark. I was in such dark. I was so broken. And all I could do was surrender to the darkness. And in my surrender, God spoke. And my light came in. You have to surrender to all of it. You have to throw everything you think you knew away. And you have to know that in your hardest times come the greatest lessons you will ever learn. It's like cracking that oyster shell open after you've stepped on it and it's cut your foot open. There's blood everywhere. And inside is the most beautiful pearl you've ever seen. That's what happens when you put your faith in the divine, in the creator, and all that is. That is when you surrender to the light within. But you have to move through the dark to get there. Not always, but for many of us, we do. So when your life is going great and everything's perfect and hunky-dory, that's great. That's great. But there will come times, because you're in a human body, there will come times where you have to go through those lessons, and they will shake you. Some will break you. But when pieces of you die, you must be reborn. And that is the hero's journey. That is the journey of the alchemist. It's a journey of all of us. And guess what? We're all in it together. We're all in Noah's Ark together, sailing these seas for the rough times, for the calm times, for all of it. And all of us have got you. All of us are supporting you. What do you believe? It is done unto you as you believe. So be specific with your thoughts. Really think on that. And know, no matter what you are going through, and the seas sometimes get really rough, just know it's all temporary. You're in Earth School, my friends, Earth School. And you will graduate from every one of these classes. And the day comes of that pure graduation. You will leave this vessel and you will return once again to the light. And you'll be part of the troop, the high council for your loved ones still here. Today is very important. Every day of your life is very important. You will never get this day again in this body, at this age, in this moment. So cherish it, choose wisely, and trust and know you have the power to do anything. You've got this, and I love you. Namaste.